I'm curious, just when they approached you with a name like Kai Asakura, who we've been watching for many years and never thought he'd be in the UFC, when they approached you with him, were you aware of him and did you like the matchup?
Yeah, I think the coincidence about my division, I already fight with everyone. The number one, number two of my contenders, I already beat twice, Brenos, Moreno, and Rival. Then we take the number 10, Erchagi, come fight with me. I want to. And after my fight with Erchagi, I looked at the rank and tried to figure out who's going to be my next opponent. And then in UFC contracted Kaya Sakura. I think that's a very good movement. That's the power about UFC. Bring a champion for another promotion, and this guy just leave his belt to try the chance to fight for UFC. For try to fight for the belt. And that's what I think. If you want to be the best fighter of the world, that's what he think. You need to win the UFC belt. I respect all the promotions, but everybody know about how big is UFC. If you want show all the world you the best, you need the UFC belt. And when he bring the name Asakura for me, I think that's perfect challenge. Super excited for that fight. Very excited fight. And someone I never figured out I have the chance to fight. And that's what I want. I want to fight with the best fights of the world, and UFC give me that opportunity.
We good? Good. All right. Well, Kai, obviously, front right here. You're good. Behind all the cameras. Obviously, a lot of fight fans have, they've been waiting not just your UFC debut, but to be able to watch you fight in America. So, I guess, how's life been since announcing you had made signs with the UFC to now? Because it feels like it's been a while, and they've been eagerly anticipating your debut.
そうですね、海外の人というか UFC ファンは僕の試合をね見たことがないっていう人が多いと思うんですけど、僕は今まで本当に KO を狙うスタイルで、勝率的にもそのKO で勝つことが多かったんで、本当に楽しんでもらえるファイトスタイルだと思うんで、今回もそれをねしっかり見せて存在をアピールしたいと思うので、楽しみにしてほしいです。
The UFC fans have never seen anybody like me fight ever before. I always aim to go for a KO finish. I'm an exciting fighter, and I'm here to bring excitement back to the flyweight division.
Did you watch him much when he was fighting in Rising? Because he was in here earlier, and he said he watched the flyweight and the bantamweight division because he always knew he might come over here and challenge you guys. So did you watch him at all when he fought in Rising?
Yeah, just when he gave them the name, he fight with one of my teammates, my training partner, Kyoji Riguchi. And for me, Kyoji Riguchi, one of the best fights all the world. Doesn't matter the division, Kyoji Riguchi so good. Kyoji helped me to involve my game so much. And when I see he knock out Kyoji, I get a more attention about him. Who this guy, can beat Kyoji because Kyoji is so good. And then I realized I have a very good fighter to fight. And that's it. I start to study him more. I see he fight with Emmanuel Cape, won one time and lose one time. He fight with Yuka Sasaki. I fight with same guy before. Good coincidence, and I'm so happy for that fight. I think make that like a crossover, open the door for a lot of good fighters all across the world, a lot of champions across the world. You have so many good promotions, but of course, everybody wants tests in UFC. And I think it's gonna be a good test for everybody. Just for me, but for everyone. See a UFC champ versus another guy is a former champ for another promotion.
Obviously, Alexandre Pantoja has been, he's had a lot of exciting fights as of recently, but he's getting up there in age. So I guess what do you make of him as a champion and opponent that you're facing on Saturday?
いや彼は本当に素晴らしい選手だと思いますし、年齢的にも多分今が一番強いんじゃないかなっていうふうに思います。でも多分これからの将来のことを考えると僕が勝ってUFC を引っ張ってた方がUFC が盛り上がると思うんで、僕が勝たないといけないなっていうふうに感じてます。
I don't have any feeling that Pantoja's too old. I think actually he's probably at the peak of his performance. He's an excellent all-round fighter. But for me, it's obvious that going forward in the future, there needs to be a change and there needs to be a new king in town. And that's why I'm here to take over the flyweight division.
You know, the countdown they talked about his knees. You know, he has some of the best knees that we've seen. He was in here and he said that his message to UFC fans was, "You've never seen anyone like me before." And he wanted to, quote, bring excitement back to the flyweight division. So I'm curious, when you are studying him and watching his tape, what do you make of his skill set overall?
Yeah, I think everybody can see the same thing I watch. You know, like a very good striking. Yeah, nasty knees. Come forward. He like a old times in Pride. That's a fight style he have. But in UFC it's different. You know, we have so many good grapplers here, and I prove maybe I'm the best one in my division. You know, maybe top 10 in the UFC grapplers. You know, and I think that's I can take advantage about that. You know, of course I'm fighting MMA. I can fight I can use my striking, but also I have my grappling too. I learn much more and I win much more fights when I start to fight MMA. You know, just go there and try to make a street fighter. You know, I learn how to win the fights. I learn a lot with my coach, and that's what I'm gonna watch. That's what I'm gonna do on Saturday. You know, I go to win the fight. Doesn't matter how.
You fought in two divisions at Rise, in both flyweight and bantamweight. It's been a while since you fought at flyweight. Were you surprised, or did you ask the UFC to fight at flyweight, or did they ask you to, you know, come like debut at 125 right away?
実はどっちの階級でもできるよっていうことを UFC 側には伝えて、で、まず今はその UFC のフライ級があんまり盛り上がってないっていうところで、そこを盛り上げてほしいっていうことを伝えられて、まずフライ級で戦うことを決めました。
When I signed my contract with the UFC, I told them I'm willing to fight either at flyweight and bantamweight. And then as discussions progressed, I said to them, look, I think we could bring some excitement into this division, so it would be better for me to fight at flyweight for you. And so that's why I'm fighting at flyweight.
Have you noticed an increased level of interest in your fight now that you're fighting Kai Asakura, just based on the diehard MMA fans that wanted to see this fight? And then obviously he is a superstar in Japan. Have you noticed kind of a uptick in interest in yourself from the Japanese audience and the diehard MMA fans?
Yeah, Japanese is a huge market. You know, I watch Pride when I'm very young, and I see how much the Japanese respect all the fighters. You know, and that's something. That's some place I want to go. I want to go to Japan. I want to feel that. You know, I'm start training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but Jiu-Jitsu comes from Japan. You know, and all the philosophy I learned in Jiu-Jitsu is come about the respect. You know, all the time you go to the match, you curve yourself, look in the eyes. And I love the culture about that, you know, and that's one place I want to go. And of course, if I can beat Kai Sakura and get all his fans, it's going to be very special for me.
There are obviously fight fans that only watch the UFC. So Saturday might be their first time ever watching you fight. But there are probably fighters, diehard fans that have been watching you for years. Were you surprised at your level of popularity in America after they announced your signing?
そうですね、本当に嬉しいことだし、ラスベガスの街を歩いててもすごいアメリカの人だったり海外の人に声をかけてもらう機会が増えて、やっぱ USC の影響力ってすごいなって思いましたし、本当に期待をしてもらってるっていうのを感じるので、なんかその期待を超えるようなねパフォーマンスを見せるつもりです。
Since arriving in Las Vegas for this camp, I've been out on the streets of Las Vegas, and oftentimes people have come up to me and stopped me and recognized me, and I realize there's some expectations on this event and this fight, and I'm going to do my best to exceed those expectations and give those fans something very exciting.
Did you notice that your opponent was standing here watching you for a little bit? What do you
First
think?
time I see him.
What do you think of that? That he's kind of scoping you out?
You look nice, yeah? Japanese style.
Alexandre, your wife has been by your side for so long. What advice did she give you early on in your career, and how has that advice changed as you've become champion?
My wife,
Yeah.
she gave me some advice about that fight.
Yeah, fighting and in life.
You know, I think all the men, all boys start to be a man when you found a good woman. You know, that's what my wife did for me. You know, after that, before my wife, I'm just a little kid, try to figure out my place in the world. You know, and then my wife showed me how to be a man. You know, I make a lot of mistakes. and she showed me how to be the right, you know. And I like to say, everything I did in my life is try to be a better person, or better husband, better father, and I try to impress my wife all the time, and that's why now I'm the champion of the world, you know.
Awesome. And you spent so much time with Coach Pahumpa. Outside of fighting, how has he helped you as a person?
So many good things, brother. One of the moments I want to say right now, like I'm driving with him, and I ask him, I think you the more correct people I know, like you do everything right. How you can do that? And then he said to me, I'm too old to make mistakes. And that's this now is for me, that's like a mantra, something like I'm still thinking about, you know. I'm too old to make mistakes, and that's a good advice for me.